Welcome to Final Expense Telesales. My name is Dana Neeson. If you've noticed my absence on YouTube lately, it's not that I have been checked out, it's that I have been more focused and locked in than ever before. Getting ready for 2026, developing my 5-year and 10-year plan has kept me very laser focused on the direction and the growth of my agency. If you are just now finding this channel, welcome and thank you for being here. I'm the owner of Empower Life Group. We are a remote telesales agency specializing in simplified issue life. Pretty soon, we will also have arms for Empower Health Group and Empower Retirement Group. Just a couple of things that I've been working on behind the scenes. Tomorrow, I get to welcome one of my favorite people on the planet, Damon Dillard, here to be a guest speaker on my team training. And we were texting yesterday, and one of the things he asked me was, what accountability systems do you have in place to help prevent agents from experiencing apathy? And believe it or not, even though I logically know what apathy is, I went to ChatGPT and I said, what is the definition of apathy? And I want to read you word for word what ChatGPT replied back to me because that inspired this whole video that I'm doing for you today. So I'm going to read it for you right here on my phone. Apathy is the state of feeling nothing, where you're supposed to feel something. It's a lack of emotion, motivation, interest, or concern, especially towards things that normally matter. In simpler terms, apathy is when you stop caring, stop engaging, or stop responding. Not because you're lazy, but because you feel disconnected or numb. Apathy in leadership and sales, it's dangerous because it looks like just going through the motions, losing urgency, losing belief, stopping before you even start. It is not burnout and it's not anger, it's the absence of both. And I was really taken aback when I read that definition that was given to me, and it really inspired the topic of today's video, which really apathy is the silent killer of agents and leaders in the life insurance industry. Over the next couple of weeks, I have challenged my entire agency, new agents, experienced agents, leaders, and pending leaders to fill out a mission, vision, and goals survey. I want to know where everybody's at currently, what they see from themselves this year, 2026, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and start kind of mapping that out. But if the silent killer is apathy, how do we help prevent agents and leaders from getting into this mindset? So I wanted to talk about it today, open up the discussion, because I think most people think burnout is the biggest threat to their success in the life insurance industry. But I think it's far more subtle than that, far more destructive than that, because apathy, it's not exhaustion, it's not overwhelm, it isn't frustration, right? It's all of those things combined, and it kind of creates this internal feeling of numbness where you just kind of stop caring when you're supposed to care. And it's not the absence of emotion, right? Because we all have emotion. We all react with emotion to situations. But I think when you start losing the urgency and the belief to really continue to build and to push, when setting goals doesn't excite you anymore, when your numbers don't scare you anymore, when the fight that you had on day one changes, and it's far more exciting to go out with your friends than it is to continue to fight for something bigger than yourself. I think apathy also is a feeling of being safe. And I'm not talking about being safe with a group of people where you can feel comfortable and a better version of yourself. I mean, in a world of feeling safe where it's more neutral, almost like a place where your dreams can't flourish, almost where your dreams start to die. For agents, What apathy, I think, maybe looks like is staring at your list of leads and not dialing. Where maybe you used to dial 300, 400, 500 a day, you're struggling to hit 100 dials now. Um, you might be saying things to yourself like, I'll just start earlier tomorrow, or I don't really feel like dialing today, or, this lead looks bad, I'm going to skip it, or I'll get back on track on Monday, right? All of those things I think are symptoms of apathy. Maybe you skip the live dial session, or you decide to skip on training and sleep in instead because you've been to so many trainings you don't think you need it anymore. I think it shows up for agents when they stop fighting for the version of themselves that we know they are capable of winning. And it's not because they can't win, it's because they've kind of lost the belief that the effort that they put in really matters. Now, leaders, you are not exempt from this. In fact, in a leadership role, I think apathy is even more dangerous because we have a responsibility to set an example. And when we are setting the wrong example, that spreads. We might say something like, why even pour into them? They won't show up anyways. Or I'll check my numbers later. I can't care more than they do. It's not worth the energy. I hear negativity in leaders all of the time because they have this pattern of disappointment instead of continuing to push to find the ones that will meet and exceed their expectations. So, as leaders, we start to lower our standards. We have less accountability. We set fewer expectations. We don't pour as much into our culture, avoid conflict, kind of letting everything stay on maintenance and autopilot. And I think as a leader, when you are experiencing apathy, that's when you really actually just stop leading completely and you turn into survival mode. And I think that's a dangerous place to be, right? You stop setting goals, you stop doing vision boards, you stop, having consistent team meetings, or your meetings get shorter and emptier, and they don't have a lot of purpose. So how do we break free, right? How do you break free from apathy? If you've noticed that any of the things that I've said you can relate to, I really think that the cure for this is probably reconnection. It's reconnecting to things like your why, reconnecting to your mission, your identity, your standards, reconnecting to the version of yourself that you recognized when you got into this business in the first place, reconnecting to your commitment, to your team. I think some of the actions that you can take to reignite is having agents update their goals, having you as a leader writing down what your vision statement is and constantly sharing that and making that top of mind with your team, getting people excited to engage in live dials again, having re-engagement in your training sessions, inviting other people to participate, making other people feel like they are part of the mission and it's not just all about you as the leader. So if you're an agent, we can't force you to start caring again. But you can start reinforcing the habits that got you back to that place. Picking up the phone consistently, plugging into training again, being an active participant, reconnecting to the belief that you can change your life in as little as 90 days. If you're a leader, right, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Your team doesn't need a better script. What they need is a better version of you. You need to be a more connected leader. You need to be a more present leader. You don't need to do all the things and be there for them in every single way. You just have to be present. You have to be committed and you have to lead with conviction so that your team has something to follow. Apathy, I think, is quiet. It's something we don't even really notice that it's happening until it's here and it's eating you alive. But getting out of it, I think, can be a huge transformation. And it all starts with a single decision to care again, show up again, and believe again. Heading into the final month of the year, your future, your team's future, and the future team that you haven't even met yet, depends on your ability to show up and continue to challenge your team to become the best version of themselves. We are growing like crazy. Finally, in 2026, Empowered Life Group has the foundation and the stability it's needed. We now have 10 leaders, and we are ready to take on agents and volume like never before. If you're looking for a new home in 2026 and you want to align with someone who shows up for you, who cares as much as you do about making this work, please book a group opportunity call in the description below of this video. I'm currently hosting them every Tuesday and Thursday. We are probably going to be opening up a once a week webinar now with my leadership team so you can get to know all of us. I would love to meet you, get to know what you're looking for, see if we find alignment, and I wish you a strong rest of the year. See you on the next video.